All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome over to On the Reel. This is episode 3, something like that. We're going to be talking all about Thunderbolts today. It is a Thunderbolts review special. I got the chance to watch it 2 times. Hopefully, you guys were able to watch it before watching this video. If you have not, wait till you watch it. Come back. We're going to be talking about spoilers and all that. I'll be talking a little bit non-spoilery for the first, I want to say like maybe 10 minutes, but before we get into it, first of all, thank you guys for watching. Second of all, make sure you guys turn on the post notifications, like the video, subscribe, do all the YouTube stuff. I just got to get that out there. So, I've done my part. And yeah, let's talk about some movies. But before we talk about Thunderbolts, how are we doing, guys? It was a really good weekend. It was a very good weekend for movies. Thunderbolts came out. Every time there's a big Marvel movie, it's hectic at the movie theaters, but there's also this kind of energy, right? There's this kind of nostalgic energy, especially with this movie, and we'll get into it in a little bit. But there's this nostalgic energy that I feel, at least personally, every time I walk into a theater and there's a new Marvel movie out. And yeah, we did just get Captain America Brave New World in, what was that, March? I believe that was March or February. I think it was February, actually. But it's been a while. It's been about 3 months. So yeah, it felt good. It feels good to have Marvel movies in the theaters. I had a lot of fun with this movie, and yes, we are going to talk about it. But yeah, man, it made about $75 million, I want to say, domestically, and $162 million globally. This is a huge success for Marvel. They were kind of struggling a little bit. I mean, it's not crazy numbers, right? It's not Endgame level numbers. But for a movie that's starring a Black Widow that we've seen once or twice, 3 times maybe, but 2 of the times in a Disney Plus show. Red Guardian once. You have John Walker, seen him once. Ghost, seen her once. Taskmaster, excuse me. I don't even want to talk about Taskmaster. And then and Bucky, of course, we've seen him. But for a movie with that kind of cast, those kinds of stars, to make $80 million, that's almost as impressive as James Gunn revitalizing Guardians of the Galaxy and making them a mainstream name. So it's just something to think about. But yeah, so okay, we're gonna get into it. Like I said, this is gonna be all Thunderbolts. However, one thing I do want to talk about real quick is something that came up about, I believe, last night, and it came up, and it's causing a little bit of a controversy around the Twitter sphere, or the X sphere, or the movie community, and I am a part of that controversy. So let's go over here, right? Let's why is there, hold on. Whoopsie. Let me go here real quick. There you go. So, let's talk about this. Donald Trump, our president, says he's ordering a 100% tariff on all films produced outside of America that are brought into the country. Hollywood projects currently shooting overseas include Avengers Doomsday, The Odyssey, Avatar 4, and Supergirl. Now, those are just a few. Those are just a few of the projects right now that could be affected, but there are a lot. We don't film everything. Look, this is not going to be a political rant, okay? This is just strictly based off of what he's doing and what his mindset is on movies. Not all movies are made in America. Not all products are made in America. And, to put tariffs on that stuff, I think is kind of ridiculous. Like I said, I'm not very political. I don't know the ins and outs of everything that's going on. However, reading this And let's go back to what he actually says, right? The movie industry is dying. Hold on, let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger for me to read. Here we go. The movie industry is dying a very fast death. Other countries are offering all sorts of incentives to draw our filmmakers and studios away from the United States. Hollywood and many other areas within the United States are being devastated. Excuse me, that was two different sentences. This is a concerted, I don't know, effort by other nations and therefore a national security threat. National security threat. It is, in addition to everything else, messaging and propaganda. Therefore, I am authorizing the Department of Commerce and the United States trade representatives to immediately begin the process of instituting a 100% tariff of any and all movies coming into our country that are produced in foreign lands. We want movies made in America again. Okay. That was a lot to unpack there, right? Yeah, I don't agree with this. If it was not obvious, I do not agree with this. I don't agree with that at all because here's the thing, right? And I don't even know too much about this industry either. I'm just like one of you guys. I love movies. I enjoy going to the movie theater, getting my popcorn, getting my soda, getting my chocolate Raisinets and pouring it as we like to do, right? The milk chocolate Raisinets, pour it all over the popcorn like Whiplash, you know? As we like to do that. I'm just like you guys. I just like movies. So when he's talking about wanting to make movies in America again, a lot of the best movies in the past decade have not come from America. Just one off the top of my head, Parasite, directed by Bong Joon-ho. He was, I believe, South Korean. It's a South Korean movie. There was an international movie that just came out not too long ago. They're remaking it with Leonardo DiCaprio. I believe it's called One Last Call or something. Last Call, something like that. So you guys know what I'm talking about, right? About the alcoholic. Yeah, it's that, and it doesn't even matter because we don't want to shoot. America's not the most beautiful land. It's not the most beautiful land. So if Avengers Doomsday wants to go to London and shoot there, number one, they probably get more tax incentives for shooting in their country, which they can bring back to make their cost a little bit lower for the movie, the budget a little bit lower. And that helps out a lot. A lot of people, like, for example, Avengers movies were filmed in Georgia, like Infinity War and Endgame. They were filmed in Georgia during the end credits. I know we all stay for the end credits. You'll see the big Georgia peach, right? They film in Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia specifically, to get money, more money back on their production. And look, I don't even want to get into what I think personally. I just think this is dumb. I just think it's very dumb. And it's very, why? Like, why would you say something like this? I don't get it. And I'm trying really not to go on like a political rant because once again, I'm not very political. This is just about the movies. But there are a lot of reasons why Hollywood movies, Hollywood projects should continue to shoot overseas and should be allowed to shoot overseas if they want to. You know? Just me. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about this. You guys can have a more, I don't know, detailed discussion down below in the comment section because I'm not touching that. I'm not getting into it. I just wanted to present this to you and you guys can have the conversation because shit like this stresses me out. And shit like this makes me kind of mad. And yeah, I just, I don't want to get on my fucking rants right now. All right. Where am I? So, I'm drinking a white peach, the summer edition Red Bull. Sugar free. I'm quitting sugar, even though this is probably worse. All right, man. Enough talk about that bullshit. Let's get into what we're actually here to talk about, yeah? Now, like I said, Thunderbolts had a really good weekend. It had a very, very, very promising box office, and the reviews are amazing. Thunderbolts has, I believe right now it's sitting at an 88%. And I'm so proud of this movie, man, because this is the first movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe that's it's like the rebranded Marvel Cinematic Universe, right? Kevin Feige got his power back, and this was after all the writer strikes, after all the director strikes and stuff like that, and the actor strikes. This is the first real project that came into fruition without any of the old regime. So Bob Chapek, not involved with this. His decision making in this is non-existent. This is all Bob Iger and Kevin Feige's doing, and of course the director Jake Schreier. Excuse me. So yeah, they didn't have like handcuffs on them when making this movie. Same with Daredevil Born Again, which I still need to watch. I still have not seen that. Crazy. Daredevil Born Again was kind of the first project really to there's something in my eye to kind of have free will, and Thunderbolts is the first movie to have free will since Bob Chapek, since he put in that mandate for more Disney Plus shows, more content, less quality. I mean, he didn't say less quality, but he was giving so much tasks to Kevin Feige to handle, and he just couldn't. So Bob Iger steps in, president of Disney steps in, and gives him his power back and lets him breathe a little bit. This is the first project, is my point. This was great. I got to watch this twice, and I'm so impressed because the first time I didn't know when I was going to be able to watch it, and I wanted to watch it right away. I was able to watch it Wednesday night. I was able to watch it early because, hey, I know connections. I got connections, okay? I was able to watch it Thursday night, but albeit it was at a 1 in the morning screening. And that was really hard. I'm a father. I was tired, but I needed to see what happens. I needed to be able to talk about this. And I left that movie theater thinking, yeah, that was good. But I was falling asleep. Sunday, fast forward to Sunday, I'm able to watch it again. Oh, it got so much better the second time. And I think it had to do with the fact that I was not sleepy. But the second time, oh my God, all the context, all of it. Oh, it's so good. All right. Now, let's talk about Thunderbolts, man. Thunderbolts stars in an ensemble cast featuring Florence Pugh, Sebastian Stan, Wyatt Russell, Olga Kurylenko. We will talk about that in the spoilers. I'm sure you know. Louis Pullman, Geraldine Viswanathan, Geraldine Viswanathan. She's from Blockers. I love her. Chris Bauer, Wendell Pierce, David Harbour, Hannah John Kamen, and Julia Louis-Dreyfus. In the film, a group of anti-heroes are caught in a deadly trap and forced to work together on a dangerous mission. Sounds kind of familiar, right? Sounds kind of like Suicide Squad. Well, this is not. This is a different kind of Suicide Squad. This movie tackles a lot of mental health issues. It's basically the Suicide Squad, except they all want to kill themselves. They all want to commit suicide because of their past. And I thought that was a very interesting in on this movie, and it works. Okay. We're gonna talk about this like this, okay? The director, Jake Schreier, he hasn't directed as far as I know, he hasn't directed a huge movie like this. You may know him as the director of Beef on Netflix, starring Steven Yeun and Ali Wong. That's an amazing series. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. Jake Schreier, wonderful director. He was clearly the perfect choice for this movie because he was able to tell such a human story in this, and that's my biggest pro of this movie, is that it's a human story. There are super soldiers. There's almost spoiled something. I mean, it's kind of in the trailers, but I still don't want to talk about it until spoilers. There is superheroes in this movie, but it's very much focused on the character dynamics between them and their past and the bad things that they've done and how to overcome that. There's a lot of this movie that you have to see twice in order to understand. I mean, hey, maybe you don't. Maybe you're just extremely smart and you can get everything all in once. Good for you. That's amazing. But I highly recommend watching this movie twice because it makes you think. The first time I was watching it, I was like, I usually always watch movies twice. And that's just because, I just like watching movies twice and being able to kind of, talk about it and think about it a little bit deeper. So I highly recommend watching twice. And when I watched this for the second time, I clearly understood literally everything, at least I think, everything that they were trying to say, and I loved it. Okay, so you have Yelena. She's really the star of this movie. You have Yelena kind of battling with the actions of her past. The actions of her being a Black Widow, losing her sister. She is definitely the lead of this movie, and she kills it. She is amazing. There's dramatic work, there's comedic work, there's action. She's great in this movie. Everybody else, so I can talk about every single one. Some standouts though, for me, are going to be John Walker, played by Wyatt Russell. Now Wyatt Russell is Kurt Russell's son, and he's beating the Nepo baby allegations because he is a great actor. He is not just Kurt Russell's son. He is genuinely a great actor. There are certain parts in this movie where you kind of feel for this character as he's just an asshole, right? But he's not like a lovable asshole. There's this trope in a lot of movies where he's like a lovable asshole. This one, no, he's just an asshole. For a lot of the movie, he's just an asshole because of the stuff that he's going through at home. And he's just there to, take care of business, try to go home. And, there's, I don't know. The screenplay let me jump. I'm jumping. I want to talk about Lewis Pullman. Lewis Pullman, you may know him from Top Gun Maverick as Bob. And he is playing Bob in Thunderbolts. Lewis Pullman, first of all, looks like Tom Holland. Like, I don't know if you can see him in the back right now, but he looks like Tom Holland. And in the movie, he has like the same mannerisms as Tom Holland. It's ridiculous. But easily, one of my favorite parts of this movie was Bob. Was Lewis Pullman. He's funny, but he's relatable. And if you are a human, you will feel the things that he's feeling when you go deeper into the movie. I won't spoil it yet, but when you go deeper into the movie, you will understand. All in all, man, this is a wonderful movie. Okay, the pacing is pretty perfect, honestly. It does run a little bit long, but I feel as though it's necessary because of the kind of movie that it is. This movie is such a win for Marvel. I think the writing is sharp, which is something that I feel like we haven't really gotten a lot of. We haven't gotten a lot of that sharp Marvel writing. And this is written by Eric Pierce and Joanna Kahlo. And Eric Pearson, and Joanna Kahlo. And it feels like a phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 kind of movie. Like, it feels like early MCU movies. Of course, you're going to have your CGI stuff, right? There's CGI moments in here, and granted, that's fine, because you're going to have those. This is a Marvel movie after I think they knocked it out of the park with this movie. This movie should have no business being as good as it is. Is the hype for this movie justified? After the first time I watched it, I was going to say no. It was very good. But after the first time I watched it, I was going to say no. This time, after watching it for a second time, I can now say that yes, this is worth the hype. This is a film that kind of touched me. I felt myself kind of wanting to cry. Like I wasn't gonna cry, but I felt myself wanting to cry for these people. And that is a testament to the writing. That is a testament to the actors. That is a testament to the director. That is a testament to the entire film. That's a special movie, man. Now, is it perfect? No. Do I know exactly what I would like to fix? No. It's not a perfect film. It's not. It's there are some plot conveniences. Could the villain Julia Louis-Dreyfus, could she be better as a villain? Sure, right? She could be more evil or something. I don't know. But really, it just goes down to these characters, man. And I think for me, personally, character work and writing is like the most important thing. And direction, of course. But the character work is the most important thing. And you leave this movie caring about all these characters. And I feel like that is something that we haven't, like when you watch Captain America Brave New World, I don't think we cared about Sam. However, in all the other movies that featured Sam Wilson and Falcon and Winter Soldier, I feel like we cared about him. Captain America Brave New World, I feel like we didn't care about him, and that was a story issue. So yeah, man, overall, I think this movie is a fucking win. I think this movie is a win. Thank you, Kevin Feige. Thank you, Kevin Feige. All right. We're going to go into spoilers. Overall, I will say this. Overall, I want to say I don't want to give out a score. I don't like giving out scores because it changes, it fluctuates all the time, but I think I'm really set in stone. Out of 10, we're going to go 8.5 or a 9. That's my score for this movie. That's how I feel about it. And yeah, I love this movie, man. It was a really fun time, but also the character work, I can't stress that enough, the character work. All right, we're going to go into spoilers now, man. So if any of you guys have not watched Thunderbolts yet, leave the stream. We're going to be talking a little bit about spoilers. Okay, that's your final warning. Spoilers in 3, 2, 1. Taskmaster is fucking dead. That's hilarious. That's pretty funny. So she just dies. Like in the first, I don't think she has a 3-minute scene. She dies in 3 minutes. Gets shot in the head. Dies. John Walker and Ghost, they pick her body off. You know, with like ammo and guns and stuff. So I thought that was kind of funny because a lot of the Marvel community don't like what they did to Taskmaster. Why can't I say that word today? Taskmaster. They don't like what they did to her. Is that warranted? I don't know. But the thing I loved about that, yes, they did kill her. But there are numerous moments throughout the movie that call back to that. They didn't just kill her and be done with it. Sorry. They didn't just kill her and be done with it. No, Yelena has history with Taskmaster. And they came back to that. Did you know her? She went through some trouble. Blah, blah, blah. She had a rough childhood. Killed people. And died. Just like we all will. Great line. Great line. Right? When she's talking to Ghost, I believe in the desert, she was asking about Taskmaster. Great line. Okay? Another thing that I loved was Bob. Okay. And Bob, he's Robert Reynolds, aka Sentry. And it was in somewhat of the marketing. It was somewhat of the marketing. You didn't really know that it was Bob because they just showed the Void. But they did the Void. They did Sentry really well. Bob is a very, very lovable character. He reminds me of Vision from the Avengers movies. Kind of like that lovable, like, dimwit. Yeah, he's fantastic in this movie. I loved everything that they did with him. You know, his backstory, man. When they go into the Void, and I'm gonna be jumping like from point to point here. I don't really have a structure, but I'm not gonna be talking directly about the whole plot. But when they go into the Void, and Yelena is looking for Bob, and she finds Bob in his consciousness, and he's sitting there upstairs of his house waiting for his parents to stop arguing downstairs, and he's just playing with his Rubik's Cube, and I'm just like, fuck, man, that hits. Because like he was abused. Man, dude. Yeah, just thinking about that. Like that eventually led him to becoming a drug addict. And like, him and Yelena have this really good conversation about, pushing everything down, right? When they're in the bunker and she's talking about how, what do you do with that void? And she's like, just push it down. And she like jokes about it. She's like, yeah, you just push it down, ignore it. And she's joking about it. And that comes back to when she finds him in the Void, in his consciousness, in the recreation of his childhood bedroom where he was abused by his father. That was awesome, man. I love the fact that they gave... He is one of the most powerful Marvel heroes. And they gave him a good backstory. They gave him a really nice backstory to go with those powers. He's not just a very powerful being, but he has like a human side to him. And yeah, that's the whole point of the Void in general in this movie. Now, okay. Another thing I really did enjoy was Red Guardian. Red Guardian, he's a fan favorite for sure. Did I love him in Black Widow? Not necessarily. I thought he's pretty funny. In this movie, I feel like they struck a good balance between super goofy and a very lovable, heartwarming character. Because of that relationship that he has with Yelena, or who he calls Lena in the movie. And it's basically his daughter. And I feel like that really helped both characters. Yes, Red Guardian, he can be extremely goofy. He can be extremely, extremely silly at times in this movie. But those serious moments when he's talking to Yelena in the very beginning at his house, and then later down the line, after they get their ass kicked by Sentry and she has to talk to, David Harbour's Red Guardian is chasing down Yelena, trying to talk to her. And they have a very heartwarming conversation, and Yelena is just like, Daddy, I'm so alone. And the way that she delivers that line, to me, was perfect because it felt like she finally let something out that she has been holding in the entire movie. Her entire life, really. But the entire movie, it felt like she wanted to say something, but didn't know how. And then in that moment, she lets it out. And the great thing about that scene, too, is that it doesn't end on a joke. Like Red Guardian, he talks to her and says, do you know the reason why you wanted to play goalie? And it is kind of funny. Yelena replies with, because I didn't want to run. I didn't want to run as much. And Red Guardian says that too. But you said you wanted to be the one that everybody else could count on. And they have a very somber moment. They have a very nice moment. And I just feel like those kind of interactions are what made the Marvel Cinematic Universe what it is. That's what made it good. Character interactions exactly like that. Oh, man. Sorry, I'm replying to a text. That's unprofessional. Yeah, so I love how everything played out. Okay. The first hour and a half of the movie, is basically them. It's like a linear story, which I like. They go from the bunker, they escape the bunker, they figure out what to do next, they figure out what's happening with Bob, and then they have to go regroup, and Bucky captures them, and then by the way, Bucky is great in this movie too. And then they're figuring out things that are happening with Valentina. And then, yeah, it's like a linear story that like kind of follows through the entire way. And that's why I feel like the pacing of this movie was so good, is because the story kind of warranted for like a linear progression of events. And I also feel like they stuck the landing in the ending, because the whole movie was really exploring the mental aspect of these characters, right? And not pushing your void down, like Yelena said in the bunker, to Bob. And Bob is kind of like the, how do you say it? Bob is, how do you say it? I don't even know how to say it. Bob is the reason why everybody decides to kind of face their fears, enter the void, and face their problems. That's the whole point of this movie. Facing your problems, facing your past, facing your issues, whatever. You can't run from it, because Elena is literally running from her problems. And then it all comes full circle in the end. You can't run from your problems. You have to face them. Bob is facing his issues at the end, and he finally overcomes the void. And everybody in New York City is returned to normal. What did Spider-Man see? When Spider-Man was voided, what the fuck did he see? He had to relive Aunt May dying. He had to relive Tony Stark dying. He had to relive him finding out that he can't, he can't see his friends anymore. He had to relive that moment. He had to relive Uncle Ben dying, probably, if there even is an Uncle Ben in the MCU. Anyway, okay, that's my Spider-Man rant. But that's a great story, man. I think that was a great story. All right, I want to talk about, before I get out of here, I want to talk about the title change. Because the post-credit scenes, at the end of the movie, we find out that Valentina pulled a little switcheroo. Instead of, and this is I really like this. Her plan for Sentry, for showing off Sentry and killing these Thunderbolts, these group of mercenaries, didn't work out, right? So instead, she pivots, and she already has the media there, and she pivots, and she's like, welcome, our new Avengers. And they look there, and Yelena, her line to Valentina at the very end is, "We own you now." Because originally, she was going to be like, "We're not the new Avengers." Like, no, Valentina is alive, but nope. We own you now. That's great. That's great. So yes, they are the new Avengers. A lot of people were asking what the asterisk was. There it is. It's the new Avengers. And it is, you know what? Is it kind of corny? Yeah, a little bit. I don't think they're not the actual new Avengers. Okay, because if you watch the credits, there's a lot of artwork and stuff showing like newspaper clippings saying, oh, what? They're not the new Avengers. I actually kind of like them. The B-Vengers, they're supposed to save us. Like, there's a lot of hysteria when it comes to them actually being the new Avengers. I think it's just a plot point for the setup. These guys aren't going to, they're going to be Avengers. They're not the actual new Team 1, Team A Avengers team. That's just for plot reasons. I thought that was really cool, though, that they actually did say they are the new Avengers. I'm going to bring up a picture here, if I may, because I thought it was really, really funny that they're actually doing this. But let me see if I can get it up here. That's what she said, or that's what he said. That's what the old man said. All right, let me see if I can get this up here. Sorry, guys. I hate producing by myself. That's also what she said. All right, let me see if I can get this up here. All right. So you can see right here on the screen, Marvel's Studios, Thunderbolts with a little slash through it. The new Avengers is now playing. I thought that was really cool. They're adding it into the marketing. And I mean, did they do it a little bit fast? Yeah, it's fucking literally the first week. Like they started doing this on Saturday. But yeah, I thought it was actually pretty cool because like that kind of fits into the marketing. Who knows? We'll see what this title change, quote unquote, does, because I really do think they're not actually changing the title. I think they're just doing this marketing wise. Like the movie's still gonna be called Thunderbolts. I saw people I don't know. I saw people on Twitter saying like, how do you guys rank the Avengers movies, and put Avengers Age of Ultron, Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame, the new Avengers, Avengers Doomsday, and Avengers Secret Wars. Like, this is not, they're not, no. Don't do that. This is Thunderbolts. This movie is Thunderbolts. This is strictly for marketing purposes. And for marketing purposes, I think it's cool. Because they're like, what? They're the new event. Like, anybody who sees this poster, they're going to be like, what? They're the new Avengers? Really? And then they go watch this movie and they're like, oh, fuck. And then they see the end. So, yes, I think it's for marketing purposes only. I don't think they're the actual new Avengers, but we'll see, man. Because I feel like both Avengers are going to, they're going to, what is this? They're going to join. They're going to join together. They're all going to be Avengers. They're all fucking Avengers. Yeah, so that's a great ending, I think, and it really sets us up for the future of the MCU. And speaking of the future of the MCU, our second last post-credit scene. Again, the post-credit scene is talking about the new Avengers. Their struggle with Sam Wilson and whatever, about the Avengers name or something. It's a stupid little joke. It's funny. They're gonna fix it by the time Doomsday rolls around. They're not really gonna be the new Avengers. They're not gonna be the Avengers with a Z. They're just all gonna be Avengers, okay? But then they receive a distress signal from an interdimensional spacecraft with a large 4 emblem. We got Fantastic Four coming. This feels like a post-credit scene out of Phase 1, Phase 2, Phase 3. Because it used to be like the end credit scene leads into the next movie. And that end credit scene leads into the next movie. And that end credit scene leads into the next movie. You know what I mean? Like I feel like we are back to old Marvel. And it feels very good. We are back to old Marvel. So yeah, clearly we're getting a setup. This post-credit scene was 14 months later from the end of the movie. So time has passed, and we're going to go straight into Doomsday. Basically, this is like a scene out of Doomsday. Okay, so because it was confirmed that Anthony and Joe Russo they directed that scene, so that's basically a scene out of Avengers Doomsday. And the Fantastic Four, we're gonna see that in July, and we're gonna, like, we're getting pieces put together finally. It felt so, it feels like it's been so long since we have had something like that. It's been so long since we've had, continuity in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. At least it felt like. Because even Captain America Brave New World, that end credit scene, oh, you don't know, there's other universes out there. What does that set up? We fucking know. We know there's more universes. What the fuck does that set up? What is that supposed to do for me? Right? At least in this, we get the little 4 symbol. We get our little nerd moment, like, oh my God, Fantastic Four. And then we realize, okay, Thunderbolts, we're good now. We can look on forward, and we have Fantastic Four, and we still have that post-credit scene in mind. Like, we can connect these movies in our minds. You couldn't really do that before. Like what are we doing with Doctor Strange? We haven't gotten an answer from that. What is happening with Shang-Chi and that post-credit scene? What's happening with those rings? You know what I mean? So what they should have been doing this entire time, and I'm going on a rant, I'm going to finish up in a little bit. What they should have been doing this entire time is planting those seeds in the post-credit scenes like they've been doing from phase 1 to phase 3. So, overall, guys, what do I think about Thunderbolts? I really, really, really enjoyed it. That's going to do it for our spoiler discussion. I really appreciate you guys being here and, spending some time with me talking. I know it's a little bit all over the place. We're going to fix that. I hope you guys still enjoyed being here with me and talking a little bit about this movie. It is going to be a fantastic, pun intended, fantastic few months, fantastic summer for movies in general, and I'm so excited to be talking about them. So if you guys don't want to miss anything, go ahead and subscribe down below. Turn on the post notifications. We're going to be trying to go live every single day, talking about movies, movie news, movie reviews, all that sorts of stuff. So, once again, I appreciate you all, and have a great day. I will see you in the next live stream. Okay, guys? Peace.